Welcome everybody to this brief tutorial on using the NIH's new biosketch format called SciENcv. Sounds like a mouthful. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but there you go. Why is the NIH doing this? You ask? Well, in theory, what this will do is standardize the way people do their bibliographies and their biosketch and help constrain people to a particular format so people are not using a biosketch that is formatted in some way that it shouldn't be formatted. So that's the idea then. It does take a little bit of time at the outset to set up your CV. But once you do this initial setup time, which my guess is it might take you 4 or 5 hours to set it all up like you want. But once you get it set up, you can swap it out for different grants that are where your biosketch is going to be slightly different. And the NIH expects you to use this format after in the October cycle. So it's coming up quickly. So plan ahead. So what you should see on the screen right here is a recent biosketch. And what I'm going to do is take and abstract some of this material and put it in the new NIH format here. I'm logging, I'm at this website here, and I'm going to log in using ERA Commons. Now I'm already in the system, so it should let me right in, hopefully. If it doesn't let you in, you may need to use login.gov or some other system to get in this. So what I'm going to do is just ignore all these little test cases that I've done and just create myself a brand new biosketch. So here I am. I'm creating a new document, and I'm going to name it. Let's just call this my basic biosketch. Over on the left is just a recent biosketch I pulled up that has most of the information I would typically include in a biosketch. And this is an NIH biosketch, so I'm good there. And then what I'm going to do is import, so I don't have to type everything. I'm going to import my basic information about my degrees and background and so forth from ERA Commons. So in theory, this will save you a little time. You can change the sharing. I'm just going to leave it at private for now, but you can always you can change it to public later, so anybody with a link can access it here. So what you should see is a page here. There we go. And so here is what you would see at this top section where your education and training is. Some of these things that are somehow buried in my educational training, different training years or something like that, I want to just go ahead and get rid of those because those would not typically appear on a biosketch. So I'm getting rid of that and that. And let's say I want to add one as well. So for me, I had a psychology internship that wouldn't be, that I want to include, but sometimes wouldn't be a typical education. So that was, for me, that was a training. And this was the VA Boston Healthcare in Boston. And we'll just call this, we'll call this other, I guess, and call it clinical psychology internship. Okay. And I'm just going to put it at the last day, 2002. Okay. And I'm going to save that. And so these are the things I would typically expect to see in a biosketch listed. We'll generate a biosketch in just a minute so you can see what this would look like. For me, it was enough to just get it approximate at the beginning, and then I can go in and just look at the way it generates and see, oh, gee, this is all caps, or gee, I want this end date is not correct or something. But for me, it was enough to have it just approximate at the beginning. Going down and doing a personal statement. So for me, I'm going to start with this personal statement. This is the last grant we submitted. This happens to be, I think this is Emily's project here. And I'm going to go ahead and just paste this in because this contains a lot of the elements I would typically use in a personal statement. So those of you who learned to use computers in the 80s will recognize what's going on here. In that, so this does not accept any special characters. So you can't use italics or bold or anything like that. You can do it with codes. But there's an easier way to do it. Whereas if you, at the end, if you just generate a Word document of all this, you can go and fix it later. Okay, so this is just simple text here. And so what I want is a personal statement to match this one here. So I've entered that in, so we're all good there. that. And then you may choose to have citations with your personal statement. As far as I can tell, that's optional. I don't tend to have citations with my personal statement. They tend to be later in my contributions to science. But if you want, let's just say you wanted some citations with your personal statement. What this does is to pull from my bibliography. And so that is the NIH's way of keeping track of what you have published. My bibliography will automatically pull from PubMed. If you have anything that's not a peer-reviewed publication, so let's say you have a book chapter or a book or whatever you want to put in there, you've got to add that special, and we'll do that in just a minute. But let's just say that I want some, 2 or 3 publications with my personal statement. And so, I'll pick that one, I'll pick that one. And maybe I'll scroll way down here into the last century. Those of us who I had one publication in the last century. So there you go. And then I'm going to save those citations. Okay. So now I have a personal statement. I have some citations here. Moving down this next section, you would expect to see are your positions and achievements. And for me, it has my my current position, the position before. If I want to change this for any reason, maybe, so me, I came in as a professor and now I'm a Regents Professor. So maybe I say Professor to Regents. There we go. And I came here in 2011. I'm still here. So there you go. And so let's just save that there. Don't worry about this formatting. It fixes itself later, I found out. If you want to, and you could add, if you had other jobs that aren't listed here, just add them and just enter the information. Again, you only have to do this once, because once you build your basic biosketch, you can go in and just use that and make small tweaks and just call it something else for some other grant submission. If you'd like to add any honors or leadership positions, so for me, let's just say I'm just pasting this one here over the left, and I'm going to paste it over on the right. And then, I'm going to call it 2022 to present. And let's just add one more, so let's just do it this way. And let me just do one more. So I'm also oh, that's an honor. Let's just paste this one here. And this is this one. Okay, this one was in 2018, something like that. Okay. All right, so I got a couple honors there. So the contribution to science is those up to 5 sections. And so this operates in the same way as this section, the personal statement, where if it were me, I would go in and I would just paste something from one of my basic biosketches, because you can always change it later, but it's nice to start with something. I would paste it in there. And then I would want to add some publications. So let's check that box there. Select some, we got a number there. So let's go ahead and, okay. So I'm just going to delete that there. And then select citations. So let's say we want to do these ones here. And so one thing you can do is just use your find feature. If you Control F or Command F, and what I want is this one here. So I'm just going to pick a let's see. Okay, so that's the one I want. I want this one here. Let's pick this one way back in 2009. And let's say this one here, and this one here. So this is the third one here. And then I had a book. So this one ordinarily would not be in PubMed, but it's something I think is important to include here. And so the way I got that in is, it's in here somewhere. There it is. The way I got that in is I go to my bibliography, this right here, and you've got to add it this way. And so you're adding it manually, basically. So this is the way to add journal articles that don't appear in PubMed, or if you have a book chapter or a presentation or anything else you want to include here. You've got to put it in my bibliography first before you can get at it in the this new biosketch format. Okay, so I've selected these 4 publications that I want for my first contribution to science. And I'm clicking on Save Citations. Okay, so this looks, so you've got it there. You got your 4 here, good, good, good. Now there's a couple of formatting limitations. So one of the things I would love is, this is the title of a book here. And well, can't even highlight it, but so this talking with students about alcohol part, this is a book, this is it's a book, and I would love to have this italicized. So there's a couple way to do this. You can use the codes to either provide italics or bold, so you could do it that way. Or if you just generate this as a Word document at the end, you can just go and fix that once it's in Word. But just let's say we want to do it here so we don't have to worry about it later. So I'm just going to put I'll put these guys right here, and that fixes the formatting when it generates as a PDF or a Word document. Now, for these, yeah, see, there you go. Now, for these publications, one thing I liked is to have my name highlighted so people can sort of see a mix of, oh, gee, he's the lead author, or gee, he's a member of a team. It's not possible to fix that in this format. You have to export it as a Word document, and then you can fix it later. Okay, so we've done a little bit on all the major sections. To review again, I entered the system, and I'm double checking and picking the training and education I want. I pasted in a personal statement there and picked a couple publications I want to go in my personal statement section. I added some positions and corrected positions, and then added a couple honors, and then I created 1 contribution of science with 4 different citations here. If it were me, I would also include this link. It's like a freebie. And so it just adds this link on the bottom of your biosketch that just allows people to see your full battery of publications. Okay, so there's a couple ways to look at what this is going to look like. You can download it as a PDF. It's in the lower right here. Download it as a PDF or Word document. My recommendation is to download it as a Word document, because then you can go in and change it. If it's got little tweaks or you want to bold something, it's just a PDF, you're stuck with how it's going to generate. So I'm going to click download as a Word document. It takes just a second. And here's what it looks like. So let's put it over on the right side of the. So what you should see is something that looks more or less like your current CV. Let me just save this so I can go ahead and fix it. Okay. So you might see, gee, this current position title, position to Regents Professor, okay, that doesn't really work here. That's what I had intended, was for this to describe all the positions I've held here, but it doesn't really work in this format. So I might want to go back in and just change this to Regents Professor or something. Ditto with this part here. So, why is my graduate school in all caps? Why is Albuquerque in here? I would probably want to go, you could do it here, but I'd probably want to go back into the system and fix it there before that way you can reuse this for future biosketches. Personal statement looks pretty good here. Here's my publications. If I want to bold, maybe just do that. As far as I know, there's no rule against bolding things on your biosketch, and it seems like a little value added. So there you go. And again, it's looking a little obnoxious with this, so I would want to go and fix that in the system before I export it again. That way I don't have to keep doing it every time I'm creating a new biosketch. And so there you go. You can, of course, italicize or bold or anything, as long as it doesn't violate the rules of the NIH rules. And then this is pretty typical. A lot of people have that. So you'll see that in the end of my biosketch anyway, but it's just a nice value added where people could go in to your profile and see the full cadre of publications. Great work that you've done. So anyway, that's the basic system, and I'm happy to answer any questions or walk through the system. Bring me a cookie. We'll sit down and do it together. Have a good day.